Hi everyone, and welcome back to Ross's YouTube channel, where I'm uploading something to do with drawing or D&D or otherwise every day. Recently we had a stream, it was about an hour and 10 minutes, where we drew these four guys, and it was a great deal of fun, and I kind of talked about my process and gave a few tips away. And yeah, but I wanted to make like an abridged version today where I'll just talk you through drawing a little token like this, and just like I said, my process and my thought process. Those are two of the same thing. So my process and my train of thought is what I meant to say. So instead of some ghastly sea creature, we're just going to draw something more humanoid, since I think that'll be more useful to the general public. We're going to draw like a Pirates of the Caribbean themed sea undead. Some undead man who has spent a great many years under the ocean and shows the signs of it. I should have spent a little time thinking about how we're going to communicate that. Perhaps at the end of the stream we'll just have an undead, but we'll see what comes out. This is as much an adventure for me as it is for you. So the process is the important bit. That's the purpose of the stream. So my process basically is to start with, just like our maps, we're going to start with a draft layer, and I'm going to make a new one. This program, by the way, is called Leonardo, and it's my personal favorite for drawing line art. It's got a lot of really easy, simple tools and some handy ones too. You can flip horizontal. Oh, it works on a layer by layer basis. So let's try that again. You can flip horizontal and flip back, and vertical too. And that's useful for you to kind of eyeball your piece and make sure it's not lopsided, making sure it's balanced and properly not skewed, things like that. But anyway, so enough talk about Leonardo. Basically, I like it, I recommend it. It's free. Actually, I don't think it is free. Not sure about that, but I'll put a link in the description and you can have a look for yourself. The video is not about Leonardo. Let's move on. So, speaking of undead, speaking of drafting layer, speaking of our drafting layer, essentially I start with, I'm not at all on my drafting layer, am I? I start with the head, and the head is basically a circle, and sometimes I'll put little ears on just for reference. And then below the head, and slightly down, not like centered with the head, but ever so slightly down this way, we're drawing the shoulders and the back and the front, because my tokens have an odd shifted perspective where you can see much of their front and much of their legs, much more than a strict top-down view would show you. And in fact, I drew a little diagram here. This is like a strictly top-down view, but mine are more like somewhere along this arc here. I keep things loose and fresh, so long as they look like part of a set. I'm a happy man. So basically that gives us space for a nose on the face rather than out here. And we can throw eyes and stuff too, but we don't have the shoulder section right now. So our shoulders are like two balls either side of the head, connected by a line for the back, and then I usually put a line for the sternum into, or like the upper torso. Then from there, usually I do like another oval shape down here for the hips. We only need to draw the part that actually is visible. And then, as for the arms, I pretty much split the arms, if we draw another shoulder here, into one sausage, into sausages. There's sausages. So we're going to draw one sausage for the bicep kind of area, upper arm, and then another sausage for the forearm, and then a kind of a fish-shaped bowl usually, or let's call it a potato, sausages and potatoes for arms, everyone, for the fist. And depending on which way the arm goes, you might foreshorten that bicep. You might have a full length forearm, or you might have, say, here's, what situation would the forearm disappear? I mean, if it's pretty much straight down along their side, they'll have a very short kind of arm, perhaps no bicep at all. Foreshortening is a whole subject all by itself. But in order to cheat, just get your sausages out and do what feels right. I think I need a script. I think I need to think about a script. Okay, yeah, and what I was saying is that sometimes depending on the pose, your bicep may not even appear. It might even appear on this side, in which case it's a tricep, and then out here, and there's a bent arm, kind of like, yeah. But anyway, you could throw any number of these arms on here, and sometimes I just forego the whole mess and I draw a banana instead of a bunch of sausages. But the sausages are good and they look generally better. But you see, you can land up with much the same thing. As for the legs, let's talk about sausages some more. Pretty much, we have the thigh going down to the knee. It's a rather short sausage. And then, from the knee, an even shorter sausage, like pretty much foreshortened out of existence. Sometimes I don't even draw these at all, because if the knee's bent and the leg comes back here, and then the foot out here, then all you see is the thigh and the foot, right? But if it's a pretty straight leg, usually you can see a little bit of the shin, and then the foot. The foot, I guess my only description for the foot is a foot shape. So I'm not going to offer any help, just draw a foot when you need a foot. You're welcome. Please subscribe. Anyway, we've probably overdone it on the drafting layer here. I generally like to just work out proportions. Speaking of which, the proportions here are pretty ghastly for an undead. I'm gonna try and remember how to use Leonardo, and I'm gonna squish this guy. And then we're gonna switch to our main layer. And this is when I'm gonna draw very quick because we're at 9 minutes now. And I generally don't like to go over 15 minutes in videos, besides streams, of course. So, enough chatter. So, what am I thinking? Let's zoom in another step. I should have done this in the first place, so at least you guys could see what I'm talking about now. So, for an undead, I want a little toothy jaw, upper jaw. Is that a jaw? And that's going to raise up into these gaunt cheekbones with some big eye sockets and just some nose. So like I said, we're starting out very basic undead, and only later will we maybe get into seaweed and other thematic things, but basic undead for now. But you know what? let's get straight into let's forego what I just said and let's get straight into undersea things. And I'm going to put a starfish on his head. So the lesson's pretty much done, and this is just a demonstration of where to go from there. And I'll keep talking about my thought process. He's got a very elongated skull, doesn't he? We can fix that. I do like to... what are my key bindings on this computer? I do like to play very fast and loose with the lasso tool. Not get too precious about the lines, because I always do a sweep at the end to tidy everything up. So for now, we're just drawing very rough. We're still drawing rough. And you know what? He needs to be angrier. With eyes, you have to be... With the eyes in a thick line style, like I like to do, you've got to be very smart with your lines, because just a little edit will completely change the expression. Yeah, tablets kind of sliding around. Yeah, okay. Perhaps like a... Oh, let's come back to his head later and figure things out. As for his clothing, does he have any? Perhaps on this side, we'll give him like a tattered vest. And that'll come down to a belt. I sometimes just utilize the entire abdominal area as belt area. I'm getting precious about my lines again. Let's stop doing that. Let's put it off center too, since why not? Maybe a little bit of hatching, because he's been roughed up underwater. And his arm. What do we want to do with his arm? How can I make this distinctly oceanic undead and not just undead? Well, what I wanted to do here, let's see what it looks like, is put like a sea kelp kind of sash. Which begs the question, is he wearing this on purpose, or is it just stuck to him? Because it's quite stylish, I must say. And let's get another one kind of poking up here. I've got to remember to draw fast for the purpose of the recording, and then I'll tidy this up later when I actually package him up for release. Except that I don't like that at all. Let's leave it there for now though. And let's put another one here. And I think in the coloring I'll make these like different colors, so he's got a wide range of kelp on him. It'll be fun. Maybe a little more around here too. Yeah, no, I think I don't like the shapes. So Leonardo does work very well if you have a pressure-sensitive stylus. You could replicate all his lines in Photoshop, but it's the simplicity that's so attractive to me. And it's very lightweight, so it runs great on my Microsoft Surface, which is what I usually use. Okay. Are we gonna go like Pirates of the Caribbean fish monster parts with like a tentacle arm and a crab claw, or are we gonna be strictly man who is drowned but clings to life? I think we're gonna go with the second one for now. Let's give him some shorts, some ragged shorts. And then he's got, I think he'll have one boot. He'll have one boot and one bony foot. So here's his boot. And then, now bony feet, that's a whole other thing with a line this thick. So which, I always have to stop and think which side of the foot is the big toe. Because we're pretty much, I'll put his big toe here. And then the rest will just be dunk, dunk, dunk. How does that look? Yeah, we'll keep it for now. And since it's bones, it needs to come back a bit more. Leave that for now, I'll probably come back to it. This guy will probably look completely different when he makes it into the asset pack. But not bad, not bad, not bad. I think he needs some more round shapes here just to bring out the 3D shape of his body, and maybe he just needs to be skinnier. I mean, he's quite a burly skeleton, isn't he? Or that's quite an ugly crick in his spine, isn't it? Maybe let's see what that feels like later. Okay. I'm thinking we'll bring one arm in front and one arm will be slightly back here. Because for an undead, you kind of want to keep them asymmetrical. So he's got kind of one, let's go for a drooping arm. And then this one will be his kind of functional arm. And put a little claw at the end. That is a bad claw. I'll come back to you, Mr. Claw. We're not finished with you yet. And I've completely forgot about foreshortening. So let's bring in some foreshortening here. I'm going there for like a bone, stringy bone kind of deal. That looks pretty good. And here we'll have a shirt under his vest, shirt number 2, smart. And this one's going to be flesh. Perhaps he's still got some hair. Perhaps not. You know what? A hook hand wouldn't go amiss. That's thematically correct. But now I have to think about which way does the hook go. Perhaps like that. Yeah. I've got to keep reminding myself to that I'm drawing in perspective and not side on. It's pretty much the eternal struggle of drawing tokens for me. But that's pretty good. Now I'll probably fuss over this guy a lot longer and play around with perspective, because the perspective should be more dramatic, like down here maybe. That looks better already. And let's get rid of this guy so we can have a thumbnail to work with. And yeah, that's a pretty good place to stop. So I hope that you've learned something useful in this stream. This is not a stream, in this video. And please excuse my creaky office chair. It was quite expensive and I'm quite disappointed that it's so creaky. But anyway, back to the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please leave a comment letting me know what you'd like to see next. And please tune in next time. Also, if I may make one more advertisement, I have started up a Twitch channel. I've done absolutely nothing with it so far, but tomorrow I'd like to start streaming there. And I'm not sure what I'll be streaming, probably more tokens like this guy. So if you enjoyed this video, and if you did make it to the end, then you might enjoy that too. I don't have a set schedule yet, just sometime tomorrow. Sorry, that's all I got for now. Okay, catch you next time. Bye bye.